Whether you're stuck in traffic, hitting the gym, or just winding down, we are here to spill the hottest tea from your favorite Bravo shows. From the wildest reunions to the quietest social media unfollows, we cover it all. So welcome back to Reality TV Podcasts and Clips. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's get into it on 3, 2, 1.
We have a massive stack of updates to get through today. But if I had to put a theme on this deep dive, it's really the price of admission.
Price of admission, I like that.
Yeah, we're looking at the literal price tags of, joining the Beverly Hills cast, the reputational cost of doing business in Salt Lake City, and even the physical toll these shows can take on the cast in the Valley.
It's a great way to frame it because usually we just see the drama on the surface, right? But today we're looking at the economics, both financial and emotional, that are happening underneath it all.
Exactly.
And there's really no better place to start with price tags than with the newest addition to The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for season 15, Amanda Frances.
Right. So every few seasons in Beverly Hills, they bring in someone who just, completely disrupts the financial hierarchy. We've had the billionaire with Diana Jenkins, the hustler with Dorit Kemsley. But Amanda Frances is fascinating because she's the money queen. I mean, that is literally her brand. She's the best-selling author of Rich as Fuck.
And the data point that really stops you in your tracks is her reported monthly income.
It's staggering. Reports are showing she pulls in over $400,000 a month.
Per month. And that's just from her website. We're not talking about, spousal support or family money. This is a digital empire.
But when you actually dig into how she's generating that, nearly $500,000 a month, that's where it gets a little controversial.
It really does. It kind of brings us into this world of high-ticket digital coaching.
Which is a booming sector of the economy that, a lot of people don't see. It really relies on this very aggressive pricing structure where you're selling proximity and mindset instead of a tangible product.
Okay, so let's break down this pricing ladder because it's essentially a case study in psychological marketing. It starts with what she considers the entry-level option.
Right.
She calls it the best year ever course. The price, $999.
$999, just shy of $1,000. And for anyone listening who's wondering what you get for that grand, it's 8 days of content.
Just 8 days.
8 days. And the curriculum is very much focused on the intangible. So day one is releasing the past. Then it moves into vibe creation, confidence building, getting clarity.
So affirmations and journal prompts, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Homework, affirmations. You're essentially paying a premium for a very structured mindset reset.
It's interesting because in the traditional economy, $1,000 gets you a laptop or something you can hold. Here, it's buying you vibe creation.
And that's just the appetizer.
Yeah.
When you move to the mid-tier, the psychology of the bundle really kicks in. He has courses like Money Mama, self-published, and this one's great, course creation.
Oh, that's meta.
It's so meta. They hover around the $1,999 mark.
So $2,000.
Pretty much. And course creation is the snake eating its own tail, right?
Yeah.
She is selling a course on how to sell courses.
And what's the pitch for that?
The pitch is that if you can sell your future course to just 30 students at, say, $497, you've already made a profit on her course. She's selling the mathematical possibility of wealth.
It's the aspirational value. And she also uses that technique, value anchoring. She has a course called Show the F Up, priced at $1,999.
But on the sales page, she claims the value is over $10,000.
Right. It's a classic marketing trick. You anchor the customer to that huge 10K number, so $2,000 feels like a bargain.
And that course covers things like handling haters and monetizing your genuine self.
Well, to be fair, handling haters is probably the #1 skill you'd need if you're joining the Real Housewives cast.
True. But we have to talk about the top of the pyramid. This is where the numbers just stop making sense to the average person. She has a mastermind course.
And the price for this one is?
$47,000.
$47,000. That is the price of a luxury car. That's a down payment on a house in a lot of places.
And in the coaching world, when you hit that 5-figure mark, you're not paying for information anymore. You can get that in a $20 book. At $47,000, you are paying for access.
So what does access get you?
You get a group chat, monthly calls, a VIP day with Amanda, and a quarterly VIP dinner. You're buying the right to say you were in the room with her.
It's going to create such a fascinating dynamic on the show. I mean, usually wealth on Beverly Hills is displayed through Birkins, Bentleys, diamonds.
Tangible things.
Exactly. But Amanda's coming in selling frequency training and energy. Her wealth comes from selling the idea of wealth. I just wonder how someone like Sutton Strack, who deals in couture and board seats, will react to someone charging $3,000 for money mentality healing.
It's a total clash of economic cultures. It's old money versus influence money.
So that's the financial cost of admission in Beverly Hills. But if we hop over to Salt Lake City, we are seeing a totally different kind of currency being traded.
Yeah.
Social currency. And the exchange rate is getting messy for Lisa Barlow.
This was a really tough week for Lisa. We know that in the Housewives universe, proximity to A-list fame is like the ultimate currency.
Right.
So Lisa missed a cast camping trip in season 6. Her excuse was that she had to attend SXSW for the premiere of The Accountant 2 with Ben Affleck.
And another simple favor with Blake Lively. She dropped those names with the precision of a heat-seeping missile. She basically told the cast, I'm not sleeping in an RV with Bronwyn Newport. I'm going to be in a room with Batman.
Exactly. But the risk of name dropping is that sometimes someone asks the celebrity about you. And that is exactly what happened.
Oh, no.
An interviewer asked Ben Affleck, point blank, do you know Lisa Barlow?
That is the nightmare scenario. You want the celebrity to say, oh, yes, lovely woman. So what did Ben actually do?
He looked confused. It was actually kind of painful to watch because he was clearly trying to be polite. He didn't want to be a jerk,
Of course.
He said, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But he admitted he hasn't even been to Utah in like 8 to 10 years. He looked at her photo, squinted, and just said it didn't look familiar. It was the ultimate I don't know her moment.
Oof. That has to sting. But Lisa didn't take this lying down. She went straight to social media.
She did. Her defense was interesting. It was what I'd call the work thing defense.
A pivot.
A total pivot. She clarified that she never claimed they were best friends grabbing coffee. She said she was at the premiere and at the party. Her whole argument is that being invited into the room is the flex, regardless of whether the star knows your name.
So she's reframing the metric of success. And she took a massive swipe at Bronwyn Newport in the process, calling her a pathological liar and saying she'd rather be at a premiere than with her.
But the most cutting commentary didn't come from Ben Affleck. It came from her co-star, Angie Katzenevas.
Angie K is lethal with the shade this season.
She really is. She jumped into the comments and noted that while Ben didn't know Lisa, he seemed to recognize Celia.
Celia, who is Angie's dog.
Correct. She implied her dog has more Hollywood recognition than Lisa Barlow. It's petty, but it highlights just how fragile these social claims can be.
Speaking of Angie Katzenevas, I want to stay with her for a minute because she's offering a much more serious look at the cost of being on TV. While she's making jokes about her dog, she's also having a very sober conversation about the risks to her actual business.
This is such a crucial topic. Angie isn't just a socialite. She owns the Lunatic Fringe hair salon franchise. It's a massive operation. And she opened up about the opportunity cost of joining Real Housewives.
Right. She said her business was already at max capacity before the show. She didn't actually need the exposure.
That's a rare position to be in. Usually people join these shows to get customers. She's saying she had nothing to gain and really everything to lose.
And specifically, her husband's reputation.
Exactly. She said the most hurtful part of the show wasn't the attacks on her, but the rumors about her husband, Sean Trujillo. There were allegations of affairs, which they both deny. I mean, they've been married 30 years.
And she feels that dragging him into that was a price she didn't anticipate paying.
She also introduced a theory here that I think applies to every single franchise. She calls it the nothing to lose theory.
That's a brilliant assessment of cast dynamics.
It is. Angie argues there are two types of housewives. Type A is the successful woman with a brand and a reputation to protect like her. Type B is the cast member with, quote, nothing to lose.
And she was very clear about who she thinks fits that Type B description. When asked if she meant Monica Garcia, she just said, absolutely.
Right. The theory is that a cast member with nothing to lose is dangerous because they will scorch the earth for screen time. They can say horrible things, lie, start rumors because they don't have a business or a 30-year marriage at stake.
It makes a lot of sense. If you're a CEO, why risk your quarterly earnings for an argument in a Sprinter van with someone who's just there to get famous? It's a bad investment.
It is. And sometimes the cost isn't just reputational, it's deeply personal and tragic. Which brings us to Mary Cosby. She gave an update on her son, Robert Cosby Jr., that was incredibly heavy.
Yeah, this took a turn from the petty to the very, very dark. Robert Jr. is currently in jail.
He is. He pleaded guilty to violating a protective order that was filed by his wife's family and also assaulting a peace officer. These are serious charges.
But Mary's reaction to this is what is so striking. She's practicing a form of tough love that is almost shocking to hear.
She called him delusional for visiting his wife despite the court order. But the part that really stood out was her refusal to visit him.
She has drawn a very hard line. She revealed she has not visited him in jail, and her reasoning is sort of aesthetic and emotional. She finds it weird and doesn't want to see her child behind a glass.
That phrase behind a glass is so vivid. It suggests she wants to preserve a certain image of him in her mind.
But she also made a statement that I think reveals the depth of the crisis before he went to jail.
She said, "I'd rather him be there than dead." That's a chilling sentence. She prefers him incarcerated because, in her view, it guarantees he's sober. She believes he isn't using drugs while he's inside.
It reframes the whole jail sentence from a punishment to, like, a rescue mission. She mentions she talks to him daily. She's preaching to him, telling him God allowed this to happen so he can change. It's a very theological view of criminal justice.
And even her husband, Robert Sr., he sends books, but he also won't visit. It's this isolationist approach to support. It's like they're saying, we love you, but we will not validate where you are right now with our physical presence.
It's a heavy, heavy reality. Okay, let's shift gears and move to the West Coast, where the cost is being paid in a different way. Sheena Shea from Vanderpump Rules is officially in her healing era.
Healing era is such a classic influencer rebrand term, isn't it? Usually means I need to fix my public image, and Sheena's doing a lot of cleanup work right now. First, she's rewriting history with Brett Capriani, her former castmate who just got engaged to Carly Bible.
Ah, the famous boy crazy edit from season 8. Sheena has always contended that the editors did her dirty.
And she is doubling down. She now claims she was the one who encouraged Brett to reconcile with Carly. She says that when the show made it look like she was flirting with him, she was actually gushing about how much she liked Carly.
It's a convenient story, but it also shows how little control they have over their own narratives. But Sheena isn't just looking back. She's also looking sideways at the Valley. Everyone wants to know where she fits in with that cast.
She is working very hard to show she's socially integrated. She confirms she's still friends with everyone. Brittany, Janet, Michelle, Jasmine, Zach, Kristen. She even went to a Chargers game with Nia and Danny Bucco.
So she's proving she has the friendship equity to be on that show, even if she's not filming.
And she explained her absence from the cameras as a necessary break. You know, she's been doing reality TV since she was 26. She said she needed to focus on her marriage to Brock and her daughter, Summer Moon.
She used a very mature word, obligation. She said she's done managing friendships out of obligation.
Which you see so much on these shows, these forced coworker friends. Sheena seems to be trying to pivot to authentic relationships, which is probably better for her mental health.
Speaking of the Valley and health, we have a really concerning update from Janet Caperna. We often talk about the pressure to be thin in Hollywood, but Janet revealed she's dealing with a serious medical crisis.
Yeah, this wasn't a diet gone wrong. This was acute gastritis. Janet revealed she was hospitalized after 2 weeks of constant pain, constant vomiting. She physically couldn't eat.
And the numbers she shared are alarming. She's 5'9" and she dropped to 113 pounds.
That is a critically low BMI. But what I really appreciated was how Janet framed this. You know, we live in the Ozempic era where rapid weight loss is often celebrated.
Or at least speculated about.
Right. And Janet got out ahead of the narrative. She explicitly posted that this is extremely unhealthy.
That's such a crucial distinction. She didn't want fans looking at her photos and thinking this was a goal. She said she expects to look unhealthy for months while she recovers. It's just a very raw, honest moment.
It is. And it also highlighted her support system. She publicly thanked her husband, Jason, for keeping the fort down with their son. It's a reminder that when these cast members get sick, their lives have to stop, but the show doesn't.
Okay, before we wrap up, we have to touch on a different kind of healing, or maybe performative healing. Dolores Catania gave us her take on the truce between Teresa Giudice and Melissa Gorga.
Ah, the eternal conflict of New Jersey.
Yeah.
Dolores is the Switzerland of Bravo, and she addressed their recent reconciliation with a very skeptical reality check.
She has the resentment theory.
Exactly. She argues that even when people make up after a massive years-long feud, you can't just wake the slate clean. She says there's always resentment and a lack of trust lingering in the back of your mind.
She compared it to seeing a friend you haven't seen in a year. You can be polite, you can be friendly, but you're not picking up exactly where you left off.
The history is still there.
Yeah.
Dolores supports the peace, but she's not naive. She knows that in reality TV, a truce is often just a ceasefire before the next war.
And speaking of Dolores, she's expanding her territory. She filmed a cameo for Real Housewives of Rhode Island.
It's happening. Apparently, she's friends with a cast member named Liz McGraw. So the producers figured, hey, we have a Jersey housewife who knows a Rhode Island housewife. Let's mix it up.
It just shows how interconnected this Bravo universe is becoming. It's practically the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point.
It really is.
So we've covered $47,000 courses, the cost of a reputation in Salt Lake, and the physical toll in the Valley. What's the takeaway here?
I think it just goes back to that idea of the price of admission. When we watch these shows, we focus on the glamour, right? The private jets and the parties. But today's deep dive really exposed the bill that comes due at the end.
It's a provocative thought to leave you with. Amanda Francis is charging $47,000 for access to her energy. But then you have Angie Katzenevas and Janet Caperna, and they're paying with their privacy, their business reputations, and even their health.
Yeah.
So the question is the price of admission to these social circles paid in cash, or is it paid in something much more expensive that you can never really earn back?
That is the real question.
Something to mull over. That is it for today's deep dive. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next update. We will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.